people are trying to change their money habits without ever looking at their money stories underneath them. And the story often starts long before there was words to put to it. So if money has ever felt emotionally loaded for you, this episode matters.
Oh, heck yeah. It's always felt emotionally loaded for me. You know, many of our adult reactions, our adult money reactions, were learned as children. They're learned family patterns, phrases that were repeated, and we'll get to that later on in the episode. And the emotional atmosphere around money that you grew up in. So our childhood, we reached a lot of conclusions about money, and a lot of it we never fully questioned.
Welcome to the Wellness Way Energetics. Today we are talking about your first money story. And by the end of the episode, you'll understand how early experiences shape our adult money beliefs. And you'll begin releasing at least one of those old scripts that may still be active in your life.
Our first money story is not just the first time we saw money, not just the first time we understood money. It's the first meaning we attached to money. That's a whole other ballgame. What did money seem to do in your home? So think about your childhood. Did it create stress? Did it create arguments? Did it create fear? Silence, that's also a weapon. And control, sometimes generosity and over generosity. Did it create guilt or instability? Children learn money from so many different ways. We learn it from tone, how things are spoken. We learn it a lot through repetition because that's how we learn as children, and emotional atmosphere. Yeah, how were you taught? What emotions came up as you were being taught about money and about spending and all of that kind of stuff? That means adults, we are reacting to what money felt like as long before we're reacting to what money actually is. So when someone feels guilty about asking, about receiving, tense about opening up that checking or savings account or that IRA account, that reaction was programmed into us as children. And we're just now reacting to it as an adult. So this is not about blame. This is about awareness. And if you go back to our other episodes, Susan and I talk about awareness a lot because once you can see the story, once you can re-experience that story, you are no longer completely inside that story and reacting from that story. So Susan has our very first exercise, and it is a doozy.
So this is your earliest money memory retrieval. And with all of these that we're doing in here, it's helpful if you have a journal with you or
Mhm.
something to write on. But let's begin. Take a slow breath in and exhale. And just know with all of these exercises, these are intended to be safe, gentle, and supportive to you. So we ask ourselves, what is one of the earliest memories you have involving money? Don't force it, just let something rise. Maybe it's hearing, we can't afford that. Maybe it's watching somebody worry over bills. Maybe it's feeling guilty for asking for something. Maybe it's watching adults fight or go silent or become tense. Just write down whatever shows up for you. Now ask yourself, what did I decide money meant in that moment? Again, write down whatever comes up. And then we say quietly, it makes sense that I learned from that moment. Again, it makes sense that I learned from that moment.
Mm.
So, Jennifer, what did you notice?
Holy moly. A memory from kindergarten, actually. We were all on the floor, and my best friend in kindergarten, she always had nice clothes. She always had whatever she wanted. She was an only child, and we were sitting listening to a harpist. So that was the very first time I had heard a harp. And she turns to me and she says, "Well, your family's poor, aren't you?" Because I always had hand-me-downs. I was the youngest at that time, and so I must have been 4 or 5. And it struck me as I didn't notice prior to that, I didn't notice her, that she elevated herself
Right.
above me because her family had more money. She was an only child. We already had 7 kids by then. My mom had 7 kids by then, so there was very little money to go around. So what I learned from that was, oh, I must not be good enough, and we must not be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Just by that, and to her, it just was an observation. I don't think she meant it as a judgment, because,
At that
we
age.
not at that age, and we played together all the time. At school, we didn't play together at home, but we played together at school. We were like inseparable. So it was interesting. That was the first time I learned separation because
So when we
as a
said the
family unit,
phrase,
we were always together. When you
right.
have a large family, you're always together.
So
Hmm.
when we said that phrase, it makes sense that I learned from that moment.
Hmm.
Did you notice a shift at all for you? That awareness of that, it's like, yes, did you notice?
Absolutely. I don't think she meant it. My shift was, I don't think she meant it as a judgment. I think
Right.
she just
Okay.
meant it as an
Good.
observation. And it
Hmm.
was a true observation because, 7 kids with one adult income, even in the 60s and 70s, that was hardship. So,
Right.
yeah. So I just went, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And very likely an observation from words that she's heard. She's, at
Right.
5, you're not making that kind of observation yourself,
No,
but it's that meaning that was put on by people around you,
around her.
right?
It makes it easier to let go of the belief, because it's not true, the
Right.
belief that we're not good enough or I'm not good.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because that belief created then played out through a lot of my life,
Right. Right.
which is why this episode is so important.
I was going to say this is why we're doing this all because you don't need to hold on to those
Yeah.
beliefs that got formulated because they really aren't the truth. Once these early experiences repeat, they do often become our money scripts. And a money script is a belief about money that feels true because it became familiar early. So some scripts sound like this, money is hard, money is asking is selfish, struggle is noble, so many beliefs like that have integrated in our conscious and our subconscious, and they shape our adult behavior. So if money meant conflict, you might avoid money situations. If money meant guilt, you may struggle to receive. If money meant instability, you might overcontrol or panic. If money meant shame, you might undercharge or hide. That is why people don't so often say, I know better, but I still react this way because your
Mhm.
filter that your body and your subconscious is working on is still there. That old script can be running even when the adult part of you wants something different.
Well, and if you go back to our episode, the reticular activating system, that's exactly what's happening. Those old
Yes.
money scripts are running through your reticular activating system and bringing all more of that to you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's working to your detriment, not to your betterment. And these exercises are designed to loosen that grip so your conscious and subconscious mind work to your betterment. And we have another exercise. So excited. So please take out your journal. We've talked a lot about journaling because journaling helps shift the filter to get to your subconscious programming. And writing it down activates your brain, especially if it's written in ink, activates all sorts of parts of your brain to help you shift through this. And the more you activate your brain, the easier it is going to be to shift these things. So I want you to write this sentence down. The money phrases I heard growing up are or were. The money phrases I heard growing up are or were. So just take a moment, take a deep breath, and begin writing. So I'm going to give you a few that we came up with, and then I'm going to give you a few that I heard growing up. So don't edit yourself when you're writing your list. Some of them can be money doesn't grow on trees. Well, it actually doesn't because our money is made of cotton, not paper. We can't afford that. Heard that a lot. Be grateful for what you get. Rich people are selfish or greedy. Now, what I heard a lot was we can't afford that. Well, of course, we had 7 siblings that my mother and father had to provide for. I heard a lot, you can't have that because I had to buy your sister whatever, she needed shoes or glasses or whatever. And so stop asking. What does that teach you? Yeah. And a lot of it was you can't have that because insert whatever because was. Or when my parents divorced, your father didn't send child support, so I can't buy you new clothes. I can't buy you that. What is that? What does that teach you as a young child? So think about those and then write your list. When you're done writing your list, just keep writing until you're done. Until and you're doing a brain dump onto your paper. And then what I want you to do is take a deep breath and then circle the phrase, the belief that still feels emotionally up and active. We call that a trigger. Ooh, that felt icky. Those are the things that you notice, or, oh my God, I just got a pain in my side or my head. Those are the triggers. Those are we call up and active. So then take another deep breath. Read it out loud once. Read your phrase out loud once. And then we're going to reframe that. We're going to ask how this is still showing up in my life. So we begin to understand that those old programmings are now showing up, and this is what it looks like. So think about that. How is it still affecting you? What you charge, what you save, how visible you even feel, or how safe you feel receiving, how safe you feel spending anything. So this whole exercise is designed to bring you awareness to those patterns. So Susan, what did you experience?
And for me, that the list wasn't real long, and so it makes me believe I need to go back and kind of do this again and get to some deeper ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I had one that was just very predominant. We work hard for our money, and so I know for me now, I still work hard for my money, but I don't necessarily translate into receiving, into doing. It's just work hard, just work hard.
Mhm.
And so I know that I still do that. And so I get to see what that looks like and reframe it a different way. And I know the exercises that we're doing are going to help do that.
And my first thought was, I had that too. So why can't it be easy? It was
Right.
never a conversation in my household of why can't it be easy?
A total reframe that we do not think about and was not common wording at
Mm-mm,
all
mm-mm,
growing up for
mm-mm,
most anybody.
nope. So it's
So,
interesting how I find it fascinating how once those beliefs and patterns come up in our life, how we're still holding on to them
yes. Yeah.
and how it affects our lives now.
Yes. And if you don't think about a reframe like you just said, because as soon as you said it, it's like, well, why can't it be easy? But I didn't think to think that, even though
No.
I'm a constant reframer when
Hmm.
it came to money, I didn't think to reframe it.
Mm-mm. Yep. I'm so glad you said that because now I'm like, every time something's hard or I'm like slogging away at something, why can't this be easy? So one of the biggest reasons old money stories stay hidden, locked within our body, is that people often mistake it for their truth
Yes.
because it's been repeated over and over and over again, and it feels right for them. Things like, I'm just bad with money. Money filters through my hands. I'm just not disciplined. We blame ourselves. Well, I always do this. We blame ourselves. We make ourselves wrong. But often, what makes more sense is that this reframe. I learned something powerful early, and a part of me is still reacting from there.
Yes.
I learned something powerful early, and I'm still reacting from there. Because early money experiences can shape our confidence, our self-worth, our emotional safety, and even what feels normal. For some
Mhm.
people, that story is not only about money, about what we were taught about money, it's also tied to a broader environmental instability,
Mhm.
environmental fear, unpredictability.
Yeah. Yeah. That truly is why adult money reactions can feel even bigger than the current moment
Hmm.
because your body is responding to an old meaning, not just present day information, numbers, data. So, we're going to do another exercise here to notice where in your body that you're feeling some of this and give you a way to release. So, take a look at that phrase that you circled earlier. Say it out loud one time. Notice where that lands in your body, your chest, your throat, your jaw, your stomach, your shoulders. Wherever that is, place your hand there and repeat after me. This belief was learned, and it is safe for me to release it now. This belief was learned, and it is safe for me to release it now. And then breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And one more time, breathe in for 4, 2, 4, and exhale for 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. With every exhale, just imagine the old sentence loosening, even just a little. All right, Jennifer, what did you notice?
Oh, so I had a very specific belief come up. My oldest siblings are twins. Stereotypical good twin, bad twin. And one was very responsible. He always did the right thing. And the other one, not so much.
That's what.
It was more important for him to have fun than it was to be responsible and take take care of everything. And so I heard my mom say growing up a lot when I was young, before he went out and went into the military. He was quite a bit older than me. Only he gets it was more about resources. So like he would get an extra helping at dinner, or he would get something. There was always a reward for his responsible behavior.
Oh,
So what that taught me was, I think I can't remember how old he is in relation. I'm a
that's right.
lot younger than he is. But what it taught me was that only he gets to keep money. Only he gets to have money. That's what my little girl brain was like, huh? My mom didn't mean that at all.
No,
Not at all. She was trying to teach his brother by 2 minutes that if you are good, then you get cool stuff. But if you're bad, you don't get to have that. That's what she was trying to teach. She was trying to teach my second oldest brother by 2 minutes. She was trying to teach him responsibility.
right.
But that's not what I took it as. I mean, as an adult, I can understand that and I'm aware of that. But as that little girl, and what that did for me was every time I got money, I gave it away growing up. I could never receive it because I wasn't responsible enough, even though I really am. But
Right.
my little girl brain believed I was not responsible enough to receive, to receive whatever, mostly money. So
You,
I felt it in my stomach and I felt it in my chest. And when you said, repeat after me, this belief was learned and it's safe for me to release now, it was like, oh, thank goodness. I no longer have to carry that around. And the reality is, I am responsible. I'm very responsible.
and sometimes it's the truth that we need to give ourselves permission, or we need to be told,
Hmm.
you have permission for this to change.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I love that it's safe for me to release now because we both know that your
Yes,
subconscious needs to know that everything is safe to let something go,
exactly. Exactly.
to let something go. Whew, it was a very simple exercise, yet very powerful.
And our old money stories are hard to change sometimes because
Hmm.
they're often tied to belonging. Sometimes changing your relationship with money can feel like becoming different from your family, your community, your identity that you were handed. If struggle was normal, ease may feel suspicious. If sacrifice was praised, then being well supported may feel selfish. Just like you were saying, Jennifer, you put meaning to it unconsciously that carried through. If wealthy people were judged, earning more
Hmm.
money can create an identity conflict. So the fear is not just always about money.
Absolutely. It may be about being about closeness of family, closeness of friends, morality, even innocence. Lots of money beliefs tied to loyalty
Yeah, totally.
or belonging, the right to belong, because the the need to belong to something or someone is very, very strong within the human psyche, because that's how we survived if we were in a pack or in a group of people.
Right.
That's how we survive. So belonging is a very powerful belief
Yes,
system.
it is. Yeah.
So that is why these exercises we're doing with compassion. That is why healing and shifting these beliefs, we're trying to do them simply and with compassion. as Susan said before, give yourself permission. Because in these exercises, we're not attacking the past. We're bringing awareness to the past, and you get to decide in these exercises what you want to let go of right now. And I truly firmly believe that there is a right time and place for any healing. And sometimes the time might not be now, but it might be tomorrow. That's why it's important to come back to these exercises. If one exercise is just like, nope, not going to do that, come back to it in a week. Watch the video again, and you may be ready in that time and place to begin shifting some of these beliefs. So let's go one layer deeper, just one, a little bit. And that's why we like these exercises, because they seem simple, but they're really not. And we're going to go even deeper than the exercises previous. So we're going to give you a statement. You can use our statement to loosen the belief's grip on your subconscious, or you can choose your own if this statement doesn't resonate with you. We do recommend you write them down, and that's what your journal's for, because then you can, as I said before, you can come back to them at any time. So I just want you to take a deep breath and think about this just briefly. What money beliefs did I make real because they were familiar? What money beliefs did I make real because they were familiar? And you can put your hand on your heart or your stomach and say out loud, this belief was learned, and it was safe for me to release it now. And it is safe for me to release it now. This belief was learned, and it is safe for me to release it now. You might have to say that statement several times before you notice a shift. And just keep saying it out loud until you feel that shift. Here's another one. What have I made right about struggle or lack? That's an interesting question. What have I made right about struggle or lack? And again, hand on your chest, stomach. This belief was learned, and it is safe for me to release it now. This belief was learned, and it is safe for me to release it now. Whew. And the last one, what am I afraid will happen if I no longer carry this family money story? What am I afraid will happen if I no longer carry this family money story? Give yourself permission to let this family money story go. This belief was learned, and it is safe for me to release it now. This belief was learned, and it is safe for me to release it now. And let your body respond before your mind takes over. Because your mind is going to go, no, 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 can't let this go. And then I want you to say, I can honor where I came from without repeating every pattern that I learned from it. I can honor where I came from without repeating every pattern that I learned from it. And again, take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Susan, what did you experience?
Wowza. we do these things often in the work that we do and for ourselves and for others, and stuff does always come up, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I noticed for me really strongly, the first two questions had such a charge to them and such an impact to me that I was so excited to be able to say that phrase. The belief was learned and it's safe for me to release it now. And it was like, especially after the
Mhm.
second time, it was like, okay, this is done. It's released. And I did that for the first two, and I had something down for each of those. But then I noticed that the third one, it didn't resonate with me at all. It didn't have any charge. And so it's like, okay, so I don't need to do anything for that one. And so each, as you write these things down and you hear these questions, certain ones
Mhm.
will really get to the gunk and the subconscious stuff that's holding you back.
Yeah.
And then you just do it on that. But the action of that, this belief was learned and it's safer for me to release it now. Truly, I could feel it like pull out and be free. So it's just allow yourself to do it, and not everything will resonate, and just you do what's still, again, is active, what's still
Mhm.
active in your system, and allow yourself and give yourself permission to release those. So,
There you
that was
go.
awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Today, we looked at our first money story, the atmosphere we learned from it, the phrases we heard, the
Mhm.
beliefs that may still be active now. We talked about our early money or our early family conditioning, its effect to money, and how those adult money behaviors get created. And we practiced loosening those old scripts in the body, not just understanding in the mind, but in the body. So the takeaway is a family story is not always a true story.
Whoa. Think about that for a minute. Your family story and familiar story is not always a true story. Wow. Yeah. Holy moly. I'm going to have to think about growing up now.
Yes.
What, what were the stories? Other stories told in my family.
Without
Well,
judgment and without, oh man, I'm so mad that that happened. No, this is just about the awareness and letting
yeah.
yourself and your beliefs shift to what truly is best for
Back
you.
to these exercises because it is true we heal in layers. So what is said today may not be what you need to heal tomorrow, or you may not be ready tomorrow. It may be two or 3 days from now. More stuff will come up, and the more you allow to come up and the more you say these statements and release them, the deeper you're gonna go. You're gonna find more belief systems that you're like, holy moly, I didn't realize that was running in my background. And doing these exercises will allow those beliefs and emotions to emerge and resolve. That's the most important part. Release, resolve, let go. And it happens with repetition. So this is an episode you're going to want to come back to time and time again. So I want you to do this. In the comment section, answer this question. One money phrase am I ready to outgrow is. You can say it as a belief, one money belief I am ready to outgrow is. And then use some of the statements that you learned today and begin to shift that. Because if you put yours down in the comments, it's going to trigger someone else's subconscious, and they're going to go, oh, I never thought, like both Susan and I are like, oh, we never thought about doing that. Yeah. So stay with us because next time, we're going to go deeper into the hidden cost of financial stress and what money pressure does to the body. Ooh, and I got some good examples of that. What it does to the mind and what it does to your decision making. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channels, Healing Peace Within LLC and Form to Soar with Susan. You're going to get some great content on both of those channels and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching.